This monument is on the line of the logging railway that the Shaw brothers ran out from Prairie River just to the northeast of us here, 22 miles down to the southwest of York Lake, and their big timber berth down there, number 960. The Shaws built this line in 1910, and on it they ran a little two-truck Class C shay. It's narrow gauge, 3'6" probably, 42 inches, until the operation was moved to Crooked River in 1917. Looking eastward down Saskatchewan Highway 3, about 40 km west of Hudson Bay, and this is the turn off to Prairie River. The town site is just north of the highway there. It's Tuesday afternoon, later on, July 23rd, 2019. Prairie River is just barely on Treaty 6 territory. The boundary between Treaty 6 and Treaty 4 is the Red Deer River, maybe 2-3-4 miles south of here. The treaty was signed in Fort Carlton between the Cree Assiniboia Ojibwa peoples and the Crown in August of 1876. Ooh, somebody's got a nice collection going there. This was all heavily treed and bushed in through here when Canadian Northern built their line through in 1903-04. John Shaw opened the post office of Bouvier March 1st, 1911, and his sawmill office was changed to Prairie River on February the 1st, 1913, and here we are above looking down on the Prairie River and its little valley, and there's the remains of the dam that the Canadian Northern built in 1903-04 to supply water for their steam engines. It was along the reservoir created by that dam that the sawmill operations were set up. The Shaw brothers were followed by the Lockharts in the 1930s. Kendall and Iverson were active after World War II. There's the old hotel in white on the corner. And looking northeast along Ars Street, South Railway up there, the Canadian Northern ran pretty well east-west through here. This is all glacial lake bed, really fertile, sands and silts, surrounding islands of undifferentiated glacial till from an earlier time. The loggers, of course, began operations soon after the Canadian Northern built through, and as the land was cleared, people began planting crops. In the aftermath of World War I, Prairie River became the staging point for former soldiers who, as a reward for their service, chose to accept scrips for land. They headed off south across the Red Deer River, maybe 3-4 miles south, to the Porcupine and the Weeks Plains to clear the bush and begin farming down there. The population was augmented in the 1930s when Dust Bowl conditions down south drove people off their lands, and some of them came to this territory up here to start anew. The Pasquay Hills up to the north there. There's a church down there somewhere that I never saw. Bob Poley was a member of the Saskatchewan Rough Riders Football Club championship team back in 1989, and the hall was named for him. No matter where you go in the province of Saskatchewan, you're never far from Riderville. Looking northwest up River Road into downtown. Back in the teens and the 20s, Prairie River was a booming little place with stores and stables, dealerships of all sorts, vehicles and implements. There's the new school back there, closed for years. The kids all go to Hudson Bay for classes now. In 1925, a private school was opened and was succeeded in 1935 by the Prairie River School District number 5094. There's lots of vacant pottage in Prairie River. I think this might be the old hotel, but I'm not sure. Prairie River never was incorporated as a village. It's an organized hamlet in the rural municipality of Porcupine, number 395. Looking northwest along Railway Avenue and the line of the railroad. Hasn't been a train along here in years, although I've never been able to find a notice of discontinuance. A fire a few years ago scorched some trestles to the west and I kind of shut it down. This is the third station that's been built here in 1908. A freight passenger shelter was dropped off at mile 26.5 from Hudson Bay. Well, it appears that the post office is doing well. A little library too.
Yeah, so you guys pedaled a long ways.
Yes, we did. But never mind that now. In 1919, the freight passenger shelter burned and was replaced by a portable that was brought in from Durban, Manitoba. This was used until the extant third class station was completed in 1920. It was sold off in 1981 and it's now the Municipal Museum. There were elevators at Prairie River too. Searle built in 1940 and the Wheat Pool in 1959. Wheat Pools was the last to go in 2001 and was demolished. Prairie River's population peaked in the 1960s at over 100. The last time that Census Canada was allowed to query hamlets, the population was 35 in 2006. Prairie River, Saskatchewan.